Greeting and welcome to the Intensive Success Secrets. I'm your host, Nishant Sharma from Atlanta, Georgia. Please give warm welcome to our guest, Dion Parker. Dion Parker is courageous catalyst, speaker, author, executive producer, TV, and podcast host. Hi, Dion Parker.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Oh gosh, where was I? Who inspired me to do what I do today? Let's start with let's start with maybe where I was. It's so interesting because it's such an interesting story. I'll start because I do so many things, but I'll start with the truth of my story of why I wrote my first book, right? The inspiration came from my past of the trauma that I suffered. But where I got the inspiration to write the book about the past was in the shower at the gym. I was working on this, I was working on some fitness goals when that inspiration struck. And so my first book is called Girl, Get Your Swag Back. And the swag stands for self-confidence, your walk with God, or how you lift up in this world, your attitude of gratitude, and your God-given gifts and talents. And the inspiration for that book is all around the trauma that I suffered when I was 18 years old. So when I was 18, I was stabbed with a 6-inch butcher knife from my sister's then abusive boyfriend at that time. And from that, I went on this journey of nothing happened to me. I'm good, I'm fine, I'm okay. And that couldn't have been further from the truth. I was not okay. But I went through my life, because I'm very ambitious. So I didn't want any of those things attached to me. But how many of you know that trauma has tentacles, right? So those tentacles took root in my life and it just played out. I lost my self-confidence, my spiritual walk, my attitude looked a mess. And I just walked away from my gifts and talents. And it was like, you know what, I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Until that one day that I was working on myself and was searching for my purpose. And I happened to talk in the shower. I have the best talks with the Lord in the shower. And so in the shower, I got inspiration that I was going to be writing a book. And I was going to tell all my business on that book or in that book to help other women and other people who read this story to really understand that we aren't what our experiences are. They shape us and we can rally from them. And so that's where I was, and that's what the inspiration of, what I do came from and who I do it for. That's where it came from.
Okay. What are the top 3 reasons why do people fail?
Gosh. I would say the number one reason why people fail is doubt, right? That dirty talk in your head, those critical voices, self-limiting thoughts, right? That come to tell you that you're not good enough, you're not, skilled enough, you're not whatever put in front of enough that you tell yourself. And we believe it, right? We believe it. I think the second thing would be fear. And that's fear to step out, fear of the failure itself before we even fail. Fear of, what others will say, fear of looking foolish, fear, right? So, and I think the last thing I would say, why people fail, or the biggest things to failure, I think it would still be along the same lines, is that I think we get too far ahead, right? you'll play the story out all the way in your head of, you're trying to take one little step. You've jumped 15,000 steps before you even took that one step. And so starting on the step that you're on right now, as opposed to playing it all the way out, because then that becomes scary, right? And goes back to that second reason why we fail is fear, right? Fear of and being I guess, paralyzed by that fear, right? And I've been there a time or two or three or four.
Yes. Okay. What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Now you're getting all in my business, Nishant. My greatest failure story. I actually love telling failure stories, honestly, because I think those are the biggest aha moments. And you just asked me for just one. I've got many, but one of them I would say is when I started on this journey of speaking. I have spoken around the world. I've been in India and spoken to leaders and taught leaders. I've literally been around the world and have had to grace the stage and corporate classrooms and teach. And I would say when I first started out, before I even got to that status, I will never forget this. I had the opportunity to go and speak to about 50 leaders, I would say, to talk about influencing and how do you influence across and up and down and all of these different things, and influencing through storytelling. And I did not prepare. I was not prepared for that at all. I thought, okay, I believe I know what I'm doing. But when I got there, I had no idea that the technology was not what I thought it was. I made an assumption of the technology that was going to be in the room. I was not prepared. So I could not show the slides that I had. I had to go off of memory. And when I tell you, that was the worst. I feel like I stunk up the place. It was not good. So I think the lesson from that for me was truly understanding not to rest on my own, thinking I know what I'm doing, but preparing, understanding who was in the room that I was going to be presenting to, what was the room that I was going to be presenting in, what did it include, right? And how I needed to show up and not take things for granted, right? And so from that, I don't show up that way. I know exactly the list that I need to go through in order for me to come and speak. So if anyone invites me to come speak, I got a whole list of questions that I ask. I mean, down to the colors of the room, down to the, what does the microphone look like? What is it? All of it. So that was the younger me. But boy, did I learn a valuable lesson. And boy, was I sweating bullets because I was so embarrassed.
Okay.
So there you have it.
Okay. So what is your company motto?
Yes. Thank you for asking that. So at Gym Makers is the name of my organization. It's a partnership with my good friend, Dr. Nicole Steele. So our motto at Gym Makers is to empower ladies, leaders, and little girls to help them to gain the clarity, confidence, and courage to shine in their brilliant zone. That's what we do. We do it through coaching and consulting. We do it through courses and master classes. We do it through podcasting, broadcast, TV broadcasts, our Beyond Brilliant broadcast. And we also have a women's network called the Beyond Brilliant Network, and that's a wonderful community. And so on the little girl side, we have a nonprofit. My dear partner is the executive and founder, the executive director and founder of Diamond in the Rough. And so I am a partner in that with her. Wherever she tells me to go on that, when we talk about pouring into the lives of girls, I do that as well. So yes, that's our motto: empowering ladies, leaders, and little girls to gain the clarity, confidence, and courage that you need to shine in your brilliant zone.
Okay. Who is your ideal client?
My ideal clients, that would be women. That is my ideal clients. Women in business, women in ministry, women in, again, out there in the corporate space as well. So entrepreneurs, ministry, and corporate. And so we serve all women from various backgrounds. Our sweet spot that we keep seeing that we hit are women that are aged 25 and up. That's where we see a direct hit.
Okay. So how do you find your ideal client?
Oh gosh, you know what is so interesting is that it's really about the networking, right? I feel like my ideal clients the best clients, and the way that I find them is, and the interactions that I have with them has been through networking events and building these amazing relationships from that. LinkedIn is an amazing tool as well. I have found that's how we met, Nishant. And so I love LinkedIn. It is the best place to be out, really finding people that are your target audience, and others find me. It's amazing, especially in this virtual world where networking events, from over the last couple of years have been far and few between. So I've not been to an in-person networking event in a long time. I think it's been, actually I did, I went last year at the end of last year, but it's been a minute. So I've been virtual out here, right? And exchanging and connecting and accepting connections and really asking questions. So that's how I find my clients.
Okay. So how do you deliver 5-star client experience?
That's that like white glove experience, right? That's that when we talk about really how do you make sure that your client feels extremely special. The way that we do that, I'll give you an example. So when we're coaching, we like to, there's one thing that we do that's called a brilliant brainstorm. A lot of our clients come to us with issues around clarity, just trying to get really clear, with what they want to do. What's their vision? What's their purpose? How do they go out about branding themselves and really getting out here and doing the things that they know that they were called to do? So how do we deliver upon that in an excellent way and have what we call the excellent service? We really take it from a personal perspective and really start to get to understand who our client is, not who they represent, no, who they are, period. I do my research prior. So when they come to have a session with me, I know what their presence is out on social. I know where they've been. I know what they look like. I can pull up their digital footprint and show them things that they didn't even realize were out there. And then when we really get into session, we start that experience starts with the mindset shift. So I want to know the person and understand what are their fears, where have they failed, talking about failure, what have they tried, what's going on for them, that's an obstacle for them right now that may have presented itself, for a good bit of time, but what are they thinking as they go forward? So the experience that they have with us should feel very personal, not like it's a cookie cutter experience. So that's how we deliver upon that. And the feedback that I've received, not only from my coaching, but also when people invite me to speak, when people have come to my classes, or if I'm on someone else's platform teaching, I get back this amazing feedback that talks about my energy. When I show up, I show up. I don't want to come halfway. You get me, and people are like, is that, do you drink coffee? Do you? No, this is me. This is me. I don't drink coffee. I take vitamins and eat an apple a day. But you get the energy, and you get a unique experience when you invite me to speak, and when you want me to run a course, or when you come to my courses. You will not leave the same, and I guarantee you won't be bored.
No. So what is the source of your energy?
Ooh, yes, that comes from my relationship with the Lord. That my spiritual connection, it fills me up. Prayer and meditation, I truly believe, is the source of my energy. And when I don't have that, I feel it, right? I feel it. There's just something that's missing for me. And so I believe that's my true source. That's what I tap into when I need my tank fueled. And so when I'm connected that way, you see the best of me. And so I take care of myself. Self-care is not selfish. I literally will shut it down and go sit quietly. I will find a spa. I will I will be in the steam room. Yes. And so I take care of myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Those are I think that really is, all the different sources that add to that.
Okay. How do you start your day?
Prayer, meditation. Yes, that's how I start my day. It feeds me. And the first thing I say when I get out of the bed is, good morning, Lord. That's how I start my day. Before my feet hit the ground, it's good morning, Lord. Here we go, And so it's really about getting that, into your spirit and routine for me. And so I also, from there, I get dressed. Even when we were in 2020, I get dressed. I work virtually, most of us, again, in the world, we were all in, within this pandemic over the last couple of years, we've been at home. And for me to feel good and, a sense of purpose, I got dressed every day. I still do. I get dressed. I do my hair. I get up. I might not go anywhere out of my house all day, but I am dressed and ready just in case, right? Just in case.
What are you grateful for today?
My family. I'm super grateful. These two young men that I have the pleasure of raising, my boys. I used to call them my beautiful boys. I don't think they like that anymore, but they are beautiful to me. They are 22 and 16 years old, and I'm extremely grateful to be their moms. So I call them my Mr. Parkers, and they are amazing, amazing, amazing. They make me smile.
Okay. How young are you?
So you went back to this question and asked me again my age. You didn't believe me the first time?
No. Yeah, that was pre-recorded. That's why.
I'm 50. Well, not yet, but I will be 50.
Okay.
I will be 50 years old.
You are not 50-year-old. You are 18.
Almost.
You are 18-year-old with 32-year experience.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm embracing that in my 32 years of experience. I like that. So yeah, this summer I will be walking into my golden jubilee, and my goodness, I'm excited.
Okay. So how do you feel challenges in your life?
I'm sorry.
How do you face challenges in your life?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a good question. And I think I have to, again, my spiritual beliefs and my connection is how I face my challenges. That's how I fight my battles. And it wasn't always like that, because I would always try to fight them in my own strength. And when you run out of your strength, you feel it. And so for me, I face challenges through prayer. And then I take one step at a time towards those challenges. And when I am exhausted and I can't take another step, again, I breathe in the life of the Holy Spirit for me. And so when I think about how there's some big challenges that I've had to face in my life. And even over the last year, just had to, face a new season of my life, right? Being a single woman. And I've had to think about my life differently. How does that look? How do I show up? What dynamics changed in my family? And so I can't say it any clearer, but for me, it was really tapping all the way into my spiritual relationship.
Why being impactful more important to you?
I'm sorry, say one more time.
Why being impactful more important to you?
Let me think about that. I think because anything that I do, put my hands on, am responsible for, being trusted with, that I want it to have an impact on those that I'm doing it for. I want it to make a difference. I want someone to walk away having had an experience with me, not the same way that they showed up prior. So it's important for me that they found it worth their time to have an experience with me, my products, my services, whatever it might be, that it was worth it for them. So I think impact to me is extremely important. And it's not about me, right? It's not about me having the impact. It's about the person feeling what they came to feel, or even was surprised that they walked away feeling. So that's what is important to me.
Okay. How can we support you?
I love that question. This is supporting me, right? This what you're doing, Nishant, podcasting and inviting, invite me to spaces, be my echo chamber, spread the word about what I'm doing, so that, because what I do is I lift and empower others. And so when you do that for me, I do that for several. And so introduce me to people that, you might think that I need to meet. And so, what, I heard something from Dr. Dion, and wow, I think she'd be great here. Don't hesitate, and then share the message.
Okay. So what would you say about your guest experience on this show?
Thank you, Nishant. I appreciate you very much for what you do. Podcasting, I think sometimes people think it's easy and that you could just, I can just do it. It takes time and effort and energy. And so I appreciate you holding space here for me, your thoughtful questions. I really appreciate the time that you've set aside for me and not feeling rushed here for us to just have a conversation. And so I appreciate this experience very much.
Okay. What do you want to remember for?
What do I want to be remembered for?
Yes.
I think I want to be remembered for encouraging the fearful dreamer, right? I want people to remember that, if you've had an experience with me and you came in fearful, that you felt that I gave you a light push into the right direction that changed the trajectory of your life, for the better. And so I think that's you know, if they walked away, you know, if someone said, you know, I remember Dr. Dion, you know, she was that one that empowered and encouraged people to leave their comfort zone and find their way into their courage zone. You know, I think that's what I would like to be remembered for.
What is your final word?
Oh, goodness. I would say to your listening audience, those of you who are fearful dreamers and you need the courage to get from your comfort zone to your courage zone, I would say that courage is just a decision. All you need to do is decide to do it, to be courageous, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to take the biggest, longest leap. It just means one step at a time, one courageous step at a time. So I empower you to do just that, is to leave your comfort zone and embrace your courage zone. I'm Dr. Dion Parker, the Courage Catalyst.
Yes, right. Always take baby step. Baby step. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your wisdom on the behalf of Intensive Success Growth team and our community. We really appreciate you. Thanks for coming also. Until the next time, all good wishes to you.
Oh, thank you, Nishant. Thank you so much for having me.